Okay, welcome to Parasite Detox. We have quite a group here tonight. I am so excited, and I just want to welcome you along with my co-teacher, Crystal Garvin. And we have so much good information to share with you tonight. We had this idea because both Crystal and I have seen a lot of success in our lives, our own personal health journeys with this parasite detox. We've seen it with clients, customers we work with in doTERRA, family members, other wellness advocates on our team. And we just kind of had this idea this summer, like, let's do a whole workshop and then like run a cleanse together, a detox together, and invite people in so that anyone who wants the guidance would have all the free education and guidance to do this. And we put this together and we put it out there. And I had to upgrade my Zoom account today because we had so many people that wanted to get on. I think we had about 300 people sign up the last time I checked. So very, very excited for this. So welcome. I want to let you know we do have a giveaway tonight. It is a bottle of Deep Blue Rub. This isn't for parasites. It is for pain and discomfort. If you're familiar with Deep Blue, put in the comments if you love Deep Blue Rub. It is amazing, and one of you is going to win this. How to enter? If you are on here live, you can enter. If you watch the replay by tomorrow night, you can enter. So for those of you watching the replay, I'll just say ahead of time, you have one day to watch and enter. Now, the replay will stay up, but the giveaway is only through Friday night. And there's a reason for that because you'll understand it a little bit more as we get going. But if you want to jump in on doing the parasite detox with us as a group, we have a very, very narrow window of time to get the products ordered that you would need so that you can have what you need by our start date. And there's some scientific reasons why there's a certain time we start. And so if you don't do that, you may have to wait to start. So we really want people to watch this tonight or tomorrow so they have time to get what they want if they want to get in on it, okay? So one person will win the Deep Blue. There will be an entry link that we will share on this webinar close to the end of class. So just be paying attention. Have the chat open, please, because that's where the link to enter will be. And you don't want to be fumbling around at that point. The chat's going to be active tonight. You can pop questions in and we'll try to get those answered as much as we can. Any wellness advocates that are on, if you see a question that you know how to answer, go ahead and answer that. It helps Crystal and I because we're going to be jumping back and forth teaching and paying attention to our slides. So yeah, I see everybody posting who they're or where they're coming in from. I love seeing it. Everybody is coming in from all over the place. So I'm over here on the West Coast, Crystal's over there in the East, and we are excited to welcome people from far and wide. So with that said, let's jump into the parasite detox training. So we're going to start with just a very simple concept. If you have never looked at the topic of parasites and you've never done anything in your wellness regimen to address the issue of parasites, this might be brand new to you. You might be thinking, does this even apply to me? Well, I'm going to start us out with a phrase. I don't even know where this originated. I have heard this from many, many functional practitioners, and it just goes simply, it can't be stated any more simply. If you've got a pulse, you've got a parasite. Okay, we all have them. We all have them. The goal is not to 100% eradicate them. The goal is to address overpopulation, infestation, and keep them at a point where we're not having health problems because of it. Okay. We want an environment in our bodies where parasites are not thriving inside of our body and not severely negatively impacting us. It can become a problem when our immune system is poor or if we have a lot of junk in our body that they can feed on, like dietary wise or toxins in our body, and they populate. And then you start to have problems. And we'll go over problems that they cause in a little bit. I'm going to start us out with a testimony. We have a few different success stories to share with you tonight. It's hard to pick which stories to share, but I'm going to start. You'll see a little list of names come up sprinkled throughout today's workshop. The first one is Valerie, and I'm going to share Valerie's testimony, someone I know very, very well, and I actually walked this journey with her. And this is what Valerie said. Valerie said, asked her to write this up, and I'm going to read it to you. She said, "My symptoms started with fatigue, bloating, and brain fog in the summer of 2024, so a year ago." By the way, she would have been 47 years old, same age as me, so seems way too young to start having some of these symptoms. She was guessing that maybe it's perimenopause or adrenal fatigue, but things didn't get better. In fact, she got worse. And it got so bad, she ended up hospitalized in a stroke unit this spring because she had symptoms like a stroke. And I remember when that happened, it was very scary and I was very worried for her. She had numbness in her right hand. She had a pulse, a rhythmic pulse that was happening in her cheek. She started to have kind of a droopy, tired look on the right side of her face, which became very concerning. She started to have drooling. She had heart palpitations. She was having brain fog and forgetfulness. Her fatigue got even worse, and she had horrible bloating so much that she looked 6 months pregnant, and she started having spasms in her head. Scary, scary stuff. So she gets to the hospital, to the stroke unit. Stroke was ruled out, and she kept going to doctor's visits, and every time she'd be released with no answers to what was going on. Nothing was showing up on tests. She spent a lot of money seeing doctor after doctor and was so frustrated to get no answers to her problems. She said, "I had a feeling one of the things I was dealing with was parasites." It was confirmed in June, this last June, 2025, when a doTERRA wellness advocate leader, that was actually me, I ended up seeing her on a trip and for our business, and I brought a biofeedback scanner that I have. I do that a little bit for some people, and we ran a scan on her, and on that we saw some parasites show up amongst some other toxins. So she started this doTERRA parasite protocol, and this is what she said: "I literally saw parasites that I was passing. The ones I saw were liver flukes. You can get this type from a dog or a cat. Ironically, my dog had passed away a few months before my symptoms put me in the hospital. My dog had suddenly become very ill with neurological problems. At the end of my first month on this protocol of what I planned to be 3 months, I felt 95% better. It strengthened my body when I released the parasites." So, very powerful story. I just wanted to start our workshop out with. So I'm going to pass it over to Crystal for now. She's going to go over some information with you. And Crystal, do we have you unmuted? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Tanya. So let's talk first of all about where do we get parasites? It's kind of a foreign concept for some of our Western mindset or culture, and we don't talk about them a lot, although you might be hearing it kind of trending more and more, but we can get them from a lot of different places. We can get parasites from undercooked food, from unclean water, even from raw produce. We can definitely pick them up in restaurants or from drinking or swimming in rivers, lakes, and streams. Those are some of the most common places. We can also get them just from traveling in other countries or just in even different regions. I know I picked one up and I had not been out of the country in quite some time, but I was traveling all over the US for a couple of years and picked one up. So people in other countries often do parasite cleanses on a regular basis. I do mission work in Africa, and it's just a normal protocol that they are cleansing from parasites on a regular basis because they know they pick them up often. We kind of maybe think we're above that sometimes in more developed countries, but we're not. And actually, we often over sterilize in our country. We over sterilize everything here in the US and other Western cultures and developed countries. And so sometimes we can actually be more susceptible because we're not doing the things to protect ourselves. We don't necessarily think we need to. We can also get them from animals, whether they are sleeping in our beds, licking our faces or hands, or we're just around them a lot, from infected soil. We can also pass them human to human. So things like pinworms, that's very common. Also, sexual contact can result in transferring parasites. And then in general, poor hygiene can also be responsible for how we can get parasites. So parasites contribute to our toxic load, and let's talk about how that happens. First of all, parasites themselves excrete toxins, and that will overload our liver, our other detox organs. And our bodies are designed to be able to detoxify, but we are so overloaded already between our environment, our food, and when we tip that over the top for our toxic load and what our bodies can handle, that will increase inflammation. It weakens our immune systems. We will experience disrupted gut flora and microbiome disruption as well from parasites themselves, the toxins they create, other toxins that may have been building up in our systems. And then the parasites themselves actually steal nutrients that our bodies need because they're feeding on us, literally, right? So that increases our oxidative stress, which can actually lead to cellular damage. And oxidative stress is implicated in a lot of different various diseases as well. They can cause chronic stress in the body, this whole process, you can imagine, and see how that would happen. And they can also contribute to what is called HPA axis dysfunction. So that's a disruption in the body's hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. And that's a key regulator of our stress response. So you'll hear it referred to as adrenal fatigue or cortisol problems. Chronic fatigue is tied into this. So there are a lot of different ways that we can see parasites contributing to our toxic load. And Tanya's going to go over some possible symptoms that you might see from that as well.
Okay, let's look at common symptoms, and the list goes on, but we're just going to touch on some of the most common. Parasites can cause a variety of issues in the digestive tract, like diarrhea, bloating, abdominal pain. There's other signs like extreme fatigue, skin rashes, even like acne, unexplained weight loss or unexplained weight gain, even strange symptoms like teeth grinding during sleep or changes in mood. It's important to note that some parasite infections may not cause noticeable symptoms, while others can mimic other illnesses. And sometimes they're there not causing symptoms, and then it progresses, and all of a sudden you get hit with symptoms. So there are those digestive problems, abdominal pain, cramping, bloating, unexpected fatigue, weakness, skin irritations, rashes, acne. I'm just going through the list here. Sleep disturbances. They kind of become, some of them become active at night, and that can wake you up at night, every night. Autoimmune flare-ups, because it does, your immune system's trying to deal with them. They do tend to cause a lot of sugar cravings or appetite changes. Nutrient malabsorption is a huge one, and a couple of key ones that people struggle with is they can't keep their iron levels up and they can't keep their vitamin D levels up. Liver, gallbladder, or bile duct issues. Um, Awkward to say, I know, but itchiness around the anus can definitely be a sign if that's something that you notice. Unexplained weight loss and weight gain. And neuroinflammation is actually a huge category, and that affects mood. It affects cognitive issues, memory, brain fog, and also physical neurological symptoms. Parasites can cause the body to not even have correct neurological symptoms. Valerie's story is an example of that, and even with what happened to her dog, those neurological symptoms. So that's just one example of that. So a couple of things that are important to consider is that some parasite infections may present with subtle symptoms or mimic other conditions, and that makes it hard to notice there's parasite issue here. Some parasites have varying symptoms, so they might vary depending on the type of parasite and the severity of the infection. So we're talking like a big picture with a lot of different types out there. It's not going to look the same in everyone. And then the third is that parasite infections can be contracted through contaminated food, water, contact with infected individuals or animals. So contamination and recontamination is an issue. All right. So those are things to keep in mind. Now, if someone has a very severe parasite infection, they can actually have uh, very serious health repercussions and very dangerous, even life-threatening. So I just have to put this out there as a disclaimer. If there was ever unexplained high fever, blood in the stool, or vomiting or vomit, signs of dehydration like extreme thirst, decreased urination, weakness, seizures, neurological symptoms, sudden or significant weight loss, persistent diarrhea, vomiting, or stomach pain, those are all like emergency see the doctor kind of situations. What we're doing here today is not for that level. We're doing like a cleanse for overall wellness, not emergency, if that makes sense. We're going to talk a little bit about testing because this is a common question. Well, can't I just test to see? Yes and no. Okay. Testing is possible, but it's often not a practical strategy because, um, hang on one second. Make sure okay, there we go. So many people on the mute keeps coming off and on. So testing might seem like a good idea, but it's so limited. So the most common type of test would be a stool test. And the stool test, it tests for ova, which is eggs and parasites in the gut. But it doesn't always catch them because they have to actually like identify them. Like a person has to identify them and they get missed. And you have to remember some of them are microscopic. You can't see even easily. Uh, if a parasite is in the liver, like Valerie was saying with liver flukes, or like a brain parasite, which does happen a lot more common than we like to think, it's not going to show up in a stool test, right? Or if they're in the skin, it's not going to show up in a school test or stool test. There are other forms of tests. They're not done as often. There are blood tests used to test for, you don't see the parasite in the blood. You might see the antibodies or the antigen to give a clue. Sometimes in extreme cases, they do imaging to see is there like damage done to the intestines from a severe case. Those exist out there, but they're not commonly done for just the everyday person wanting to see if they have parasites. So, in a nutshell, testing can miss a lot, especially in areas like liver, brain, or skin. And it's an added expense that doesn't always give you the answers. So, I want you to remember the statement I made at the very beginning. If you have a pulse, you have a parasite. So, cleansing is a very good strategy to just flush whatever is in the body and get rid of the majority of it, knowing I don't know how much is in there and I don't know what's in there, but let's get it out. Better out than in, as Shrek said. That's what I always think with parasites. Better out than in. So I'm going to actually show you our next success story, and it is mine and my teenage daughter. Um, so a year ago, I went on this protocol myself and with my teenage daughter. Now, the reason I did it for myself was because I had just learned a specific method of parasite detoxing from a really incredible functional doctor who was doing some work with doTERRA at the time. And I wanted to try it for myself because I'd never done it. And I thought, who knows what's in there? I'd like to get it out. But I was mostly interested in doing it for my daughter because my teenage daughter had been dealing with a mysterious neurological condition for a year. She has functional neurological disorder. It came on out of nowhere, summer of 2023. She started with tics, tremors. Within a couple months, she was having non-epileptic seizures, and to the point she was having 4 to 6 seizures a day, some of them lasting 5 hours long. So she was seizing almost all day. We have done a lot to treat her over time, and she had begun to get well, a lot better by fall of last year. So she had been struggling this for a year. She was improving. She wasn't having seizures that much, but she was still having them periodically and still having a lot of neurological symptoms and a lot of heightened anxiety and like stress response that we couldn't figure out what caused this. So as I love wellness. I love teaching wellness. So I'm looking at everything. We're working with all of her doctors, the neurologists, the naturopaths, everyone to try to get her well. And I thought, I can't shake the notion that maybe parasites might have a connection here. Maybe even not the only cause, but are they aggravating it? And this is why. Because every time we took her to an ER, one of the questions they asked was, has she gone out of the country and has she been in a body of natural water? Because parasites can cause this. And we did a stool test. We did a whole gut map and parasites did not come up. So it was ruled out. But remember what I just said, a lot of times it gets missed. And so it was haunting me. And another reason why is because 2 weeks before the onset of symptoms, she went swimming in a lake with a friend. And I could not shake the idea that what if she picked up a parasite? What if it's not in her gut? What if it's in her liver? What if it's in her brain? What if that's a contributing factor? So she and I went on this parasite protocol. Now, for me, what I noticed, I didn't really have any health issues I was trying to solve, but I did feel great after doing this detox. I noticed things coming out. For me, I saw something coming out of the skin in my arm in the form of what looked like eczema when I was detoxing, and I looked at that and went, something's exiting my body. That's good. I did see a few things in my stool, just a little bit, but I overall did well. But my daughter, What I find very interesting is I said she had improved, but she still had a lot of issues. We did a 90-day parasite detox and she went leaps and bounds. She improved so much and she's continued to get better and better. She drives now. She's going back to school now. She's highly, highly functional. She has her life back. And when I look across the last 2 years, the period of time where I saw the most improvement was the 3 months she did the parasite protocol. And because she had been swimming in a lake, I really have a suspicion that it made a big difference for her. There was probably something in there that she cleared, but it didn't show up on a stool test. So I wanted to share that story with you now so you understand. Don't rule something out because a test said negative, and don't necessarily chase testing and spend all your money there if you just want to get rid of it. Cover your bases, just get rid of it. So, okay, let's move on from testing. And I think this is actually
Yeah,
Crystal.
this
Yep,
is
it
me.
is
Thank you,
Crystal.
Tanya. That is such a powerful story. Thank you for sharing. So, we are going to switch gears a little bit here and look at the parasite life cycle. So, you see the egg stage. Usually, we will ingest those through contaminated food or water. Then there's the larva stage. The eggs hatch into larvae inside the human body where they migrate through the tissues. I know it's gross to talk about, but this is just how it all works. And then the adult stage, after maturing, they will settle into organs like in the intestines, the lungs, or the liver, where they reproduce. Okay, so next we have the reproduction and lifespan. So adult parasites lay eggs, and then those are excreted and can contaminate the environment. Their lifespan, they can live actually in the human body for months or even years, causing ongoing health problems, and people can really chase down all sorts of different symptoms and ideas and probable causes all along, having no idea that it could have been parasites all along. I hear stories of that. People have had issues for years, and then they do parasite cleansing, and some of those things that they thought were related to a chronic disease or something start to clear up. It's really amazing. So, another one of those testimonials is from one of our friends, Romana. She had a diagnosis. This is her words, actually. I'll read them. I had a diagnosis of IBS, but after cleansing for 3 months, I no longer have any markers of IBS. Also, I was able to quit the monthly cycle of chronic sinus infections and illness afterward. So, again, not pointing specifically to a parasite, but the beauty of this is the oils and the supplements that we're using target so many different kinds of toxins in our body. It's a general cleanse. Now, there are specific ones Tanya will talk about later that do target parasites. And we may not see the signs. We may not know for sure, but we see how people feel better. And sometimes we do see the signs, and it's gross, but that is another factor we'll talk more about too. So, in doing some research, I came across this study. Dr. Scott Johnson had shared it, and it is about toxoplasmosis. So, that's an infection caused by the parasite Toxoplasma gondii, which humans are exposed to through cat feces and also through undercooked meat. Oregano essential oil in this study reduced parasite viability in human cells without significant toxicity to the cell and significantly decreased intracellular proliferation in infected cells. That is huge, you guys. The oil worked, oregano specifically, by altering cellular function and metabolism. And Tanya is going to pop that study link into the chat from PubMed if you would like to take a look at that for yourself. It's pretty mind-blowing. Just oregano oil in general is mind-blowing, but many other oils have antiparasitic properties and target different types of parasites as well. That's just one example. So something that's important to understand with parasites is the lunar cycle. The moon's phases, especially the full moon, can influence parasitic activity, increasing their reproduction. So parasites might become more active and start their reproductive cycles during the full moon. The gravitational pull and lunar energy can actually affect the body's fluid balance and detox processes. If this sounds a little crazy, it is backed by science. And so, because of this scientific fact, the protocol we use and recommend is carefully timed to maximize parasite die off during that full moon phase. And we do it across 3 lunar cycles so that we can get the eggs, larvae, and adults as they hatch and grow. This is extremely important because it greatly reduces the opportunity for reinfestation to occur. The last thing you want is to kill off the eggs or to kill off the adults, but not kill off the eggs that they've already hatched or laid and not hatched yet. So there's this 3 month cycle. Sorry, I messed that up a little bit, but you get the idea. The egg, the larva, and the adults, and it could be during any of those different lifespan phases that you're doing a detox. And some people only do a parasite cleanse for 2 weeks or a month, and they might miss that there are some lying dormant. There are eggs actually there. So we do this for 90 days for a really specific purpose, and it is going to give you the best long-term results.
That's so true. We can't stress that enough. And yes, it does sound a little weird. We follow the moon cycle, but it is science. And so when I said at the beginning, I want people to watch this today or tomorrow because they need time to order so that we can all start on by our start date, which I'll give you that schedule, it's because of the lunar cycle. That's what I meant by that. Because we have a short window if we're going to start it on the day that will give us enough days to do the beginning part before that first full moon hits, and we want to hit them hard on the full moon. We use the word gentle, by the way, because it's gentle, meaning it's not horrible and painful for you, but it's not gentle on the parasites. It's aggressive on the parasites. So just to be clear. So I have another testimony for you. And this is Lindsay, one of our wellness advocates. She said, over the past few years, I started having issues with my liver and gallbladder. I was working with my naturopath, and we did a number of gallbladder flushes and various things to support my liver, but I wasn't experiencing much improvement. My naturopath suggested parasites might be the cause and recommended a very expensive parasite cleanse that she stated I would probably need to do regularly and ongoing due to physiological vulnerabilities to parasites like my blood type, my stomach acidity, etc. I decided to do, instead of her strategy, she said, I decided to do a parasite cleanse with oils that she found in a recommendation book you might be familiar with if you've been around doTERRA for a while, called the Essential Life book. And this was a protocol of just a bunch of essential oils, which, by the way, were the all but one of the oils in that is going to be part of our protocol. So it's very, very similar. Just with that, and not even doing some of the other really important things we're going to be doing, she immediately began to literally see positive results. She continued to follow the protocol until she no longer saw worms coming out. I know it's gross to talk about, you guys, but sometimes worms come out and you see them. Sometimes you don't see them. They're microscopic. Sometimes you see them. She kept seeing them come out over 30 days. Once she completed the protocol, all of her gallbladder pain was gone. She says, I am still working to support my liver and gallbladder, and I'm doing the parasite protocol periodically to make sure I stay clear. So far, I have remained worm-free. I have done other parasite cleanses in the past. This was by far the most effective and affordable. Okay, so the protocol we're going to share with you mirrors the protocol she used with some just slight variations. But that is a powerful testimony that we wanted you to hear because it really speaks to the specific essential oils that if you're doing this detox with us, you will be using. So it's time to start talking about that protocol. So I'm going to give you the concept. This is the overarching picture. And this is a key element that doTERRA uh, incorporates in all types of cleanses. And that is a three-phase approach. The first, there's a little analogy here, little metaphor here. We're going to look at soil and growing a healthy plant and weeds as a metaphor for our body. So that first phase we call preparing the soil. So for our bodies, what does that mean? It means we're going to open our detox pathways. That means first supporting the liver, the organ that is helping us the most with detoxing, and then opening up the four exit pathways. Also, I like to call them chimneys or doors to our body. They are the only ways anything toxic can come out of our body, including parasites. And that would be out the kidneys, urine, out the colon through feces, out the lungs, we breathe it out in our vapors, and through the skin. Those are the ways toxins, chemicals, parasites, candida, anything like that exits. They can only get out those four ways. Well, a big problem that a lot of people have are one or more of those exits are really clogged up. And so it's hard for things to detox out. It's hard for their body to detox. And if they were to do something to detox, it moves around, it mobilizes. They might kill off parasites, but if they can't get them out of the body, they just cause more problems in the body and they move around. So we focus on this phase first, where we are opening the doors. We're getting the doors nice and open before you ever go killing off parasites. Okay. That's really important. It will greatly eliminate or reduce any detox symptoms that are miserable, and it's actually going to get them out more effectively. The other thing we do in this phase is we increase cellular energy. So we've got supplements as part of the protocol that increase mitochondria energy, because the mitochondria in the cells is the driving force between the function of detoxification. Did you know that? And we add appropriate nutritional support. So your body has the energy, it has all of its metabolic pathways and its cellular function working well so that it's supported to do the job. Now, phase two is the heavy lifting. This is the detoxification phase, and it's like pulling the weeds, okay? This is where, for parasites, we're killing the parasites. If there's other chemicals in the body, we're pushing them out. We're adding a gentle gut cleansing. And again, when I say gentle, I mean gentle for you, aggressive on the parasites. We're going to clear toxins, parasites, and unwanted pathogens. So that is something that's really helpful with this parasite detox, is you're going to detox other junk as well at the same time. And then phase three is what we call watering and fertilizing. And this is the restoration phase. And it's really important to do this after you've flushed them out. You want to really restore the body. And that means gut repair and restoration, gut lining healing. It means restoring the microbiome. That's your prebiotics, probiotic, postbiotics, that gut flora. We want to rebuild that really well because it's probably been destroyed by some pathogens. And we do support that throughout the cleanse, but we really rebuild it in this phase three. And it's also cellular repair. So it is antioxidants that are going to repair against free radical damage and some of the output that parasites put out that actually give our cells damage. We want to go in and do some cellular repair. Those are the three phases. Now, if you are going to just cleanse from various chemicals in your system, you're going to do this phase one for a month, phase two for a month, and phase three for a month. When we cleanse parasites, the schedule changes. It's a little more complex because we have that lunar cycle to factor in for most effectiveness. So we're still going to use the month one, month two, month three protocols, but we're going to just call them phase one, phase two, phase three, because we don't do it month, month, month. We bounce back and forth between them on a distinct schedule that accounts for the full moons, so that we are doing a 10-day detoxification, that phase two, across the full moon for 3 lunar cycles, and you're going to have the most die off when you do it this way. And so that's why we're guiding you through it. So you don't have to figure that part out. We have a schedule for you to follow, a whole calendar you can follow. All right, so we have a guide for you. This is just a PDF ebook, multiple pages, and we are going to get the link into the chat. Maybe Crystal, I forgot to grab that link. If you could go into get the link out of the Google folder and put it in the chat. If you don't have time before you're teaching, I'll go in and do it. But we're going to get you a link and I want you to download it while you're on this call so you have it. To our wellness advocates on this call, there's a Google folder. You have all our resources so you can help support people through this cleanse. This guide is the most important resource and it is in that folder. So make sure that you have that. In case someone misses it on tonight's workshop, you can get it into their hands. You can print this, you can open it up on your phone, you can open it up on your computer and scroll through the PDFs, and it's going to guide you through everything. So I'm going to actually screen share it because I do have it downloaded. Oh, Crystal, you don't have the right one. It's in the folder. I'm going to get it. Just hang on a second, guys. Bear with me. I want to make sure everyone has it because um, you could actually follow along if you want to open it up, and if it might help you see it even a little bit better. Okay, hang on. Let's get the link. Okay, got the link. I'm going to put it in here for you. If you're watching the replay, I will be sure to put this in the description on the YouTube link. There it goes. You guys should be able to hopefully make sure it opens. Please notify me if you don't have permission to see it. Okay, so let me get it open on my end so I can screen share. There we go. I should have had this open already. Okay. Um, I'm using two monitors and I'm screen sharing. I gotta end screen sharing on this one. 1 second. Well, hang on a second. There we go. Stop share. Forgive me for fumbling here. Okay, now I'm going to screen share over here. So this is what the guide looks like. Can you see that? Okay, so you'll just see a cover, the Parasite Detox, a 90-day protocol. And then this is our 3 phases, just as a review. This is where the protocol is. So what you're going to see here is these are the products you're going to take for phase 1. These are the products you're going to take across a 10-day window, starting 4 days before the full moon, and you're going to do it for 10 days. And it's phase 2. Okay, now for 3 lunar cycles, you're actually going to bounce back and forth between phase 1 and phase 2 3 times. Okay, we're going to do phase 1, phase 2. So we're going to prepare that soil, open those exit doors. We're going to do that for, I think it's 14 days, if I remember. It's on the calendar. You do that first, and you start 4 days before the full moon, and then you start phase 2, pulling the weeds. That means killing the parasites. And you're going to do that for 10 days with that full moon on day 4. And I'm not sure why we're getting red lines on the screen. If you see that, just ignore it. And then after you do 3 lunar cycles, we move into phase 3, that water fertilizing, repairing the gut, repairing the cell, getting your body nice and strong, getting your immune system nice and strong. It's going to be more preventative for reinfestation. And after that, you can just move into some general nutritional, foundational wellness that's a smaller protocol that's going to keep you nice and healthy after that. But that is the 3 phases. You'll notice these come in, they actually come, if you need to buy everything, if you don't have these products already, the prices are on here because doTERRA has kits for what they call a 90-day reset. Now, they're going to be called month 1, month 2, month 3, because the normal way to use this would be a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. We're doing the back and forth, so they're called that, but you're going to order them that way. It'll make sense when you talk to your wellness advocate and they'll help you. The prices are on here if you're wanting to look at that. That's all wholesale. We will make sure you get the wholesale prices. How do you use them? Glad you asked. The next 2 pages are actually going to have your to-do. So if you're in phase 1, right here, it's a cheat sheet. You can print it out, put it in your medicine cabinet, lay out your supplements so that it's easy to do every morning. It's going to say you're going to take these capsules in the morning. You're going to take, you have a greens drink. It's tasty, don't worry. It tastes like pineapple mango. It's amazing. That's your nutritional support, the VMG. And you'll just do 1 of those a day. And then at any point, and you're going to take a Zendocrine complex at night. This Zendocrine is a big, important part. It's an herbal capsule that helps to open those pathways. When you move into phase 2, which will be on your calendar, and you'll get reminders from us, you're going to move into that more aggressive approach to kill those parasites off. A few more things to take during this phase. You'll do this with 10 days, and it's going to tell you exactly when to take what here and how many. And then you're going to bounce back to phase 1 again. And again, you'll bounce back and forth over 3 lunar cycles. And then phase 3, you're going to finish with. And there's your guide for that and a little list of what you can do for maintenance, just some suggestions there. On the next page, you're going to see your calendar. So we actually have 2 options available for you, an August start date and a September start date. So if you want to do it right away, we will be starting on August 24th. And that gives us, oh, I think it's just a 10 days. Sorry, I said 14. It's 10 days for that phase 1. And then you bump into, see, it's color coded. This blue, that means you're in phase 1. When you get to the orange, you're in phase 2. We're getting aggressive on those parasites. You see where the full moon is. And then you're going to do that for those 10 days. And then you're bouncing back to phase 1, back to phase 2, back to phase 1, back to phase 2. We've completed 3 lunar cycles. And you're going to end with 10 days at least of phase 3. You can go longer if you wish. You may have some of the product left over. You can go longer if you want, but you just need a minimum of 10 days of phase 3. And then you can just move into some healthy maintenance after that. So you can print this and you know exactly when you're taking what because you have your list. And then here's your alternative. If you would rather wait a month, you can start in September. The full moon happens to be on September 7th and um, also on October 7th. I am looking at this and I ignore the months on the side. I think I'm going to have to adjust this because this is actually, oh no, that's correct. That's correct. It is correct. I got in my head for a second. You're starting September 23rd for the first full moon, which is October 7th. So you're just going to go longer. This one you would finish December 19th. The first one you would finish November 21st. So plenty of time before you really get into the holidays. And you also have a DIY planning calendar here if you prefer. If you wanted to do a different month down the line, you can use this, figure out where the full moons are, and plot it out according to the instructions. And that's basically how that works. I'm going to come back to the slides and I'm going to go over um, the schedule options again really quick. Hang on a second. If I, oh, there's share. Share screen. I know it sometimes feels just a little bit confusing. Um, hmm, hang on a second. I'm not sure why oh, there we go. There's my button. But trust me, it's all right there on paper for you. So you don't have to keep it in here. You'll have a cheat sheet that'll walk you through every step of the way. Okay, so the dates that you have to choose from are the first one is August 24th is when you're going to start, and you'll be done November 21st. Second option is September 23rd, and it ends December 19th. Couple things to note on this protocol. You're going to notice in phase 2, you're using lemon essential oil in your water. Lemon is a powerhouse. It gently breaks down parasite biofilm so they can die more easily. So you're taking supplements with essential oils that are going to kill off the parasites, but you're also going to drink lemon to break down the biofilm so that when those oils go in to kill them, they're going to be so much more effective. Did you know that lemon also supports your liver and your lymphatic drainage? It also raises the frequency of the body, making it less inhabitable for the parasites. It naturally lifts your mood, which is really nice because sometimes we do get a little brain fog when we're detoxing, and it clears emotional heaviness. It helps to reduce sugar cravings, which is sugar cravings are very much linked to parasitic activity. So it'll kind of help you in that department. And when your body isn't detoxing properly, parasites thrive. So we want to kind of address the sugar, address the parasites together. But then we switch in phase 3 from lemon to tangerine. And I was so interested. Why did the physicians at doTERRA say we're going to switch to tangerine in phase 3? And what I learned is tangerine is higher in D-limonene. That is a aromatic compound that's found in a lot of citruses, but it's actually higher in tangerine than it is in lemon. And that limonene supports the natural glutathione levels. And glutathione is a powerful antioxidant that protects cells from damage caused by free radicals, damage caused by toxins, damage caused by the toxins that parasites put out. So it's an excellent oil to use for cellular repair when we're in that reparative. Remember, we talked about repairing the gut, but also repairing the cells. So that's why we switched to tangerine that month. There's a variety of oils in the different types of capsules you're taking in this protocol. And just in general, a couple of things to note that I think are interesting are some of the different essential oils have a variety of different anti-parasitic properties. For example, active compounds in oregano, thyme, clove, and other oils directly kill parasites, disrupting their cell membranes and preventing their reproduction, like that study that Crystal shared. Egg and larva elimination is really addressed by a couple of compounds called eugenol. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with that one. And thymol, which are compounds found in a lot of oils and specifically oils we'll be using. They target those eggs and the immature stages like the larva, which does eliminate or reduce greatly that reinfection risk. If you're going to put the effort in and buy the products and go through all of this, you want to make sure you're reducing your reinfection risk, because the worst thing is that if you just they come right back, right? So this protocol is meant to reduce reinfection. And then a lot of essential oils that we use actually boost the immune system. You have a stronger immune system, and that's also going to help flush the parasites out, kill them off, and prevent reinfections naturally. So, a couple of biological effects on the body when you're doing this type of parasite protocol is you're killing and expelling parasites, including eggs and larvae. You're reducing your GI inflammation and discomforts. So if you have inflammation, bloating, we're looking at reducing that, making your waist, your core, your gut feeling better, feeling like your pants aren't digging into it. You're not having that bloat all of the time. We are enhancing the natural digestive processes and relieving that bloating. A lot of people find that they have a reduction in constipation or other gut issues. And it goes the other way too, if you have more of an irritable bowel. We're going to promote detoxification of parasitic toxins because those parasites put out the toxins, and other toxins are going to eliminate as well. And we're going to support that immune system to prevent reinfection. All right. I think we're back to Crystal here. Let's see. Crystal.
Okay, thanks. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry. I was just putting the Facebook group in the chat there. So those of you who are live can see that as well. And you'll want to join that drop by drop if you're not already in there, because we are going to be supporting you there. We're going to be adding some information there that we don't have time to go over. We're already at the 45-minute mark. We were trying to stay under, but hang with us a few more minutes. This is where you'll also get reminders to switch phases. So make sure you're joining drop by drop. And I'm going to share a couple more testimonials. Actually, one I was able to just sneak in here. Tanya hasn't even heard it, but my friend Lindsay messaged earlier, right before this class. I saw it. And she said, I'm about halfway through this gentle detox and I'm feeling great. I have more energy for working out and doing household chores and still have the mental clarity for all of my paid and unpaid jobs. And she wears a lot of hats. So that was a neat testimonial. I also wanted to share my own testimonial just so that you guys know where I'm at in this journey. I am on my second full moon cycle now. And I just have to say, I've definitely seen and felt a shift. I also decided to cut out refined sugar for the last 2 weeks. But other than that, I'm doing this parasite protocol, a binder, and my other regular doTERRA supplements. And I'll be honest, I actually felt a lot of bloating last month on that first full moon cycle. I was actually craving more sugar, which are major signs of parasites. And that's why I cut out sugar completely this round. This round, I have no bloating. I've been amazed. I have not even around my cycle had bloating, which is normal for me. I'm sure I've also seen some visible signs of parasites, like we've talked about. It's gross, but it is something to watch for. Peek at your poop, okay, and look for that. I also just have so much more energy, even though I'm getting up a lot earlier in the morning. Now that we're back on our school schedule in my house, I have more energy than I did even when I went through the first full moon cycle. So stick it out for the 90 days. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But I'm not really surprised because I've done various versions of cleansing with doTERRA oils and supplements before. And these same oils and supplements helped my gut heal from Candida, Giardia, which is a parasite. And it was confirmed through stool testing, leaky gut, and multiple food sensitivities that I confirmed with GI mapping back in 2016. I was pretty desperate, so I went and had some testing to figure out what in the world I was dealing with. I have sworn by doing a 30-day cleanse 1 or 2 times a year for several years, but when I was really sick in 2016, I did my own version of a 90-day detox like this, and it gave me my health back. Many people told me I had been looking really ill, and I looked so much healthier and more vibrant after those 90 days. But even better than how I looked was how I felt. After struggling with embarrassing and painful gut issues for months, I was finally feeling better too. And I can't wait to hear how this updated, new and improved 90-day protocol helps so many more people. So with that, we're going to go to the giveaway. Tanya will put the link to fill out the form so you're entered to win. Those who are watching the replay, remember you have about 24 hours or till the end of Friday night to enter the giveaway. Of course, this information will benefit you no matter when you're watching it. So if you missed out on this, no big deal. but this is a great little bonus for you. And we also, this is really the conclusion, but we do have some frequently asked questions. So if you want to stay on and hear those, we're going to go over some, including some that I've been watching the chat and have been seeing that I want to address. So some of you, if you have time to stay with us for maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, we're going to try to quickly go through some frequently asked questions, including some questions that you guys are asking right here live. So we'll go to that next. Okay, so first of all, if you are already taking doTERRA supplements and products, do you need to quit those and only do this protocol and no other doTERRA products? The answer is no. We don't want to overwhelm. It's already a little overwhelming. We get that. It's a lot of supplements. It is so worth it, as we've already gone over. But for people who are brand new, we're not going to say start taking everything that's in all 90 days on day one, right? We have to open up those pathways like Tanya talked about. So if you are brand new to doTERRA, this is where you'll start, is exactly with the protocol as it's laid out. If you've been using doTERRA products, you're already taking VMG plus, for example, on a daily basis. You do not need to stop. In fact, I don't want you to stop. I've been continuing all of my regular doTERRA supplements while adding in these extra anti-parasitic oils and supplements and the things that open up the chimneys and that kind of thing. Also, if you can't take VMG for some reason, I did see a couple people saying they prefer LLV or need to take LLV, you can do that instead. That's perfectly fine. Someone did say they can't take Advantage because they can't have any fish products. No problem. We have the Yarrow Palm as a great option to help the body with the collagen aspect. So you can take the Yarrow Palm capsules. So just reach out to your wellness advocate if you're not sure. Do I have to follow this to a T? What if I can't do this? Or what if I'm already doing that? Just ask, or ask in drop by drop. Ask in our usage group. You will get answers there as well. Just keep in mind if you're going in drop by drop, you can't name disease names, so try to keep it generic. We have to be careful with that. Which binder to use. So Tanya went over that quickly. It is in that guide. You are going to want to take a binder, or it is recommended during the full moon phase when you're really hitting those parasites heavy because you want something to bind to them to help flush them out. And good binders, it's on that guide, but in case you missed it because you went through it quickly, you'll have access to that. But we recommend activated charcoal is a good one. Humic and fulvic acid is a good gentle one. Also bentonite clay, zeolites. So there are some different options. Most of those you can get at your health food store. Again, ask if you're not sure of a specific type. I have been preferring humic and fulvic acid for myself. It's really helped me with gut issues that I had before, like I mentioned, and when I do cleanses, I add it back in. So how do I know it's working? Okay, well, you will, like Tanya said, see some improvements in your health. You may or may not actually see parasites. You may or may not have some skin rashes and issues popping up and that kind of thing. What I'm going to ask is that you don't get obsessed. First of all, don't get fearful. Don't get freaked out and be afraid because like Tanya said, if you have a pulse, you have parasites. Everyone's exposed to them. Also, though, don't get obsessed. I do know that I have a family member whose friend and neighbor saved all her parasites. She put them in her freezer and she showed her friends and neighbors when they came by. She just had to show them what she had been finding. Please don't go to that level, okay? It gets a little weird. Not just a little, okay? That's a true story. I could not believe that. And when I visited, I would avoid that neighbor. So are there any money saving tips? Yes. Talk to your wellness advocate again. You want to make sure you're getting wholesale prices. You also want to make sure you are on rewards so that you get points back for free products from doTERRA. So make sure that you are taking advantage of all the ways that you can save money. You can also refer friends to do this and you can get a kickback from doTERRA, either doTERRA dollars in your account or actual cash in your bank account as a wellness advocate. So just talk to us about the options with that or the person who invited you. What if you forget a day or two? It's okay. Just jump back in. That is not going to just make you have to start completely back at the beginning. Just get back on your calendar as soon as you can. What if you are not having one bowel movement a day? So Tanya did say not to move on in that guide. It says don't move on to that next phase unless that phase two, unless you're having one bowel movement a day. And if that's a problem for you, even with opening up the chimneys and the preparing the pathways phase, make sure you're drinking a lot of water. You're going to want to do that throughout anyway. That is the number one way to make sure you're flushing out things. But some other suggestions, you could do castor oil packs. You could add essential oils to that, like digestion, fennel, rosemary are some of the top ones. You could take magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide, either in soft gels or powder form, to help loosen things up. You can do extra Terrazyme. You can actually take up to 10 Terrazyme a day if this is an issue for you. You're backed up. So there's a lot of oils that people have talked about that have helped. You also want to make sure you're getting good healthy fats in your diet. So getting coconut oil to eating avocado, getting good healthy fats. PB Restore, our probiotic that also has prebiotics and bacterial phages, that's a great thing that comes in the phase 3, but you may need to start that earlier if you're really having trouble. Again, drop by drop is a great place for asking these questions if there are specific ones for your health or things that we're not answering here. What if I forget to switch the phase protocol? Again, it's okay. It's not going to hurt you if you hang out a little bit longer in one phase. You can go ahead and switch when you remember. We all get busy. We all have days that we forget things or maybe miss, our supplements in the morning, and it's okay. You're getting them in consistently. That's the main thing. If you get off by a week or two, that might be a different problem. But if you forget to switch for a couple of days, don't feel like that means that you can't continue where you were. So a couple of other questions that came up in the chat. What about for kids? There are modified ways to do this, or if you're really sensitive to taking the number of drops of oils that are in some of the soft gels, you can get veggie caps and do fewer oils, or if it's kids that are not swallowing pills or are not adult size yet, there are modified ways that you can apply the oils. So like the DDR Prime, the Zendocrine oils, they're available in soft gels for convenience, but they're also available in 15 milliliter bottles of oil. You can apply those with carrier oil on the abdomen, on the bottoms of the feet. You could put just one drop in a veggie cap if the person you're asking about is able to at least swallow the veggie cap. You can also top off a veggie cap with olive oil to help if you're really having a trouble with digesting that or feeling it or burping it up or that kind of thing. So we have been doing troubleshooting, doing this, some of us for, 12, 13 years. So please ask if there are other specific questions or you need modifications in some way or another. We have helped a lot of people to be able to do this successfully, even with having to avoid certain ingredients or having to account for different size or age or that type of thing. Because again, anybody, any age or stage of life can be exposed to parasites and therefore get parasitic infections. So Tanya, did you want to add anything on any of those points for the?
Just a little bit. I want to apologize because I actually forgot to talk about the binder when I went over the guide. And so Crystal did mention it, but I want to go back and really just stress that. Why do you have to go out somewhere else and buy a binder? It's because doTERRA actually doesn't sell a binder. And so it is just one factor that you will do much better on your detox if you add a binder in and you only use it during phase 2. So that is something you have to get from outside doTERRA. If you struggle at all knowing what to get, we have lots of ideas for you. And don't overthink it. It is as simple as going down to a local health food store or ordering online activated charcoal. I mean, they're like Crystal said, she likes fulvic humic acid. I've used several different types. I did some activated charcoal when I did mine. And I had my daughter doing that when she did hers. It works great. When you take a binder, so a binder is something that likes to latch on to the dead parasites or any other toxin and it pulls it out through your gut so that you're actually like eliminating it out through your colon, and it's going to help to just finish the job to pull it out so you don't have like the dead stuff floating around in your body. It also likes to bind to minerals, and it can strip some minerals out of your body if you take it too close to your nutrition, to your vitamins. So in this protocol, your nutritional component is the VMG. That's the green drink you see in the picture. It tastes great. It's mango pineapple. It's got all your vegetables, fruits, vitamins, minerals, amino acids. It's the number one nutritional product you can get out there, and I love it. But you want to take your binder at least 2 hours before or after your VMG because you don't want it to pull some of your nutrients out. So that's an important thing. It is on the protocol. You'll just see a note like you're going to need to pick up a binder. And activated charcoal is very inexpensive. It's easy to get and to take. And it's just during that phase 2, you want some kind of a binder. Your wellness advocate can help you if you're not sure what to get. Yeah, Crystal mentioned Recharge. That is doTERRA's electrolyte with minerals and magnesiums. That is a wonderful product if you want to help hydrate your body. There's a lot of extra things you can do. Don't be afraid to add them in. We just tried to keep it as simple as possible, like the most effective things, the core things that are really important without adding a lot of extra, if you're because we don't want to overwhelm it and we want to try to keep it affordable. So someone says, how do you adjust for Mito 2 Max and GX Assist for sensitive people? Well, I'll speak to the GX Assist. That is in phase 2, and that is our heavy hitter parasite killer. Well, it's one of two. And it has caprylic acid and a bunch of heavy duty essential oils like oregano. When you take that, some people, myself included, but a lot of people don't have this, will notice a slight cramping or burning feeling in their stomach for me it's like for maybe 2 minutes. And I'm like, and then it goes away when I take one. That usually only happens for the first few days, and then for some reason I don't feel it anymore. I have found if I drink water a lot and food with it, I think it helps it to not be opening up on an empty stomach. That helps. But the bottle will say 1 to 3 GX Assist. Always start with one. See how you do. You don't need to like really give yourself a stomach cramp. If you haven't tried it before, start with one. If you don't feel anything like that, you can bump it up to 2. You can bump it up to 3. If you're sensitive, just keep it at 1. All right. So, food and water really, really help. But for me, I know it's doing its job. And I just sometimes have to put up with like 2 minutes of a little bit of discomfort. So we didn't really address this, but you need to know when you are detoxing, there will possibly be some discomfort you experience, but this protocol is made to reduce that to its most minimum. So you might notice, especially during that phase 2, and maybe a little in phase 1, you might notice I have a little bit of a dull headache. I have a little bit of brain fog. I have a little bit of a heaviness and a low mood. I have, I'm maybe going to the bathroom a few more times. Maybe I have a little skin breakout, like I had the eczema here, or I'll get like a couple little pimples now and then. That's toxins and literally dead parasites, even microscopically coming out. It's not a bad thing. You might even notice like a little joint achiness. That happens as things are moving out. Don't panic. Don't say, I feel terrible on this protocol. This is part of the process. The feeling great comes more towards the end and the farther along you get in it. What you don't want, and what this is designed to not do, is it's not designed to debilitate you. You should not be in the bathroom all day long. You should not have a brain fog and headache that's keeping you like down for the count. That is not what this is. You should be able to function normally through your day, but you just might notice a little something. If very, very rarely somebody might have more detox symptoms than they really want to deal with, we back off and go back to phase 1, do it longer before you proceed. It means your body jumped into phase 2 a little bit too soon. And that's why we want to see that 1 bowel movement a day at least, because that's a sign your exit pathways are open and you're going to be able to move into that phase 2 gently. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions coming out, and then continue to ask questions in drop by drop or talk to your wellness advocate. Oh, there's some comments. Yes. Okay, those are just comments. I think we are good, unless Crystal, you saw some other questions.
I think that we addressed everything. Thank you to the wellness advocates for jumping in to help answer questions too. That was really helpful. So
Yes.
we have a lot of seasoned people here who are helping answer questions and giving more helpful advice and tips from having done this themselves as well. So we'll continue those conversations over in Drop by Drop. So look forward to seeing you there. Don't forget to fill out that giveaway form and watch Drop by Drop. Make sure notifications are turned on there so that you see our reminders and things. And if you want to also have a little accountability group, you've got a couple friends that you're doing this with, have a text group together, like share, encouragement, reminders, testimonials. We would also love for you to share. I forgot to say this. We would love for you to share what you're seeing in Drop by Drop, not pictures literally, but like testimonials, words. People probably don't actually want to see those parasites, but we want to hear how it's going for you. We want to hear the positive results that you're seeing. And also, like I said, with my personal, the first month, I was seeing more negative things. I was having sugar cravings. I was having bloating. I was having some headaches. And now that I'm doing this the second round, those things are gone and I'm feeling really, really good. So if you're feeling worse at first, know that that's pretty normal with parasite die-off, okay? And just keep going on this, and we're here to encourage you. So thank you for joining us. We went a little bit longer than we thought, but we had a lot of great questions, and we look forward to answering more of those for you as we continue this. Whether you're starting really soon or waiting till next month, we'll be there to support you.
We'll have the replay posted in Drop by Drop, and I will email it out to everyone who was registered as well. So a few people were asking about that. Okay. Thanks,
Okay,
everyone. Good
thank you.
night.